The build-up for finals day, the last one of the season tomorrow on Sunday, continues as we now go into the business end of the qualifying heats here at Wackersdorf. It's the third and final one of the season for the junior contingent here in the Rotax Max Euro Trophy, and your grid for Heat 3, A and C is as follows. Ollie Pilker starts alongside Danny Van Dijk, with Pilker on pole position. Then it's Gianni Andrisani and Charlie Wirtz rounding out row number 2 in numbers 246 and 251. Valentin Klus in the 211 will have Jeffrey Fixer in the 255 alongside on row number 3. Maurice Schmeis in the 210 and Mike van Vugt in the 217 round out row number 4. And completing the top 10, it's Silas Ritter in the 244 and Kai Helix from Belgium in the 274. That's the top 10. Marlon Ritter and Vilgot Edquist start on row number 6 in the numbers 247 and 231 respectively. And completing the 16 strong will be the number treble 2 of Zen Rudenberg, Tobias Poschek in the 221 with Marcel Somach in the 236, and Georgia's Alexander Abskava starting from 212. So 8 rows, 16 competitors to close out the final qualification heat for the Junior Max division in 2019. 7 minutes plus an additional lap of qualification heat action to go here in Bavaria. So for those watching on your screen at home, pole position will be on the left-hand side of your screen, but on the track it's on the right-hand side. So here we go, one last time for qualifying heat action in Junior Max, and we go lights out. And great start from Ollie Pilker, who gets at least a couple of kart lengths ahead of the Netherlands' very own Danny Van Dijk, as it's 2, 3, close to being 4 abreast at the back part of the field, going through turn 4 for the very first time. But then it's into single file a little bit further as Valentin Klus trying to keep it planted around the outside and loses out another position there. So Klus started down in 5th place, and someone else definitely now at the back part of the field. And that looks to be Milan Ritter from Denmark down in the 247, but instantly goes back up the inside of another driver just in front, and that was the treble 2 of Zen Rudenberg, who started on the penultimate row of the grid. Meanwhile, at the front of it all, it is still Pilker. Van Dijk, now Van Vugt, has put it into high gear and got up to 3rd position already, ahead of Charlie Wirtz, Jeffrey Fixer. Gianni Andrisani still in 6th position, having started 4th. Vilgot Edquist has made his way up from 12th and up to 7th, so that's positional gains of 5 places. And that's just over the very first couple of laps here. And Pilker's lead over Danny Van Dijk was just over 4 tenths, but that could be closed down, not just by the 256 from the Netherlands, but then his countryman just behind, the defending and reigning Junior Max Euro Trophy champion Mike van Vugt from JJ Racing, who is closing on the 256. So the gap now between the top 3 is just under 8.5 tenths of a second. Maybe even make it less than that, as Van Vugt slides his way past Van Dijk into turn 4 to take 2nd position. Now the chase down begins, as a little bit further down the order there is an almighty 4, maybe even 5 kart scrap, with Kai Rilitz clearly in the thick of the middle of it. So Van Dijk keeping pace with Van Vugt at the moment. Just behind them is Charlie Wirtz in the 251 from KMS Europe, as Kai Rilitz gestures to the driver behind to say, let's catch up with the guys in front, shall we? So a good show of pace, and he's just in front of the 255 of Jeffrey Fixer. And then just behind them is Valentin Klus on the 211. Leaders come across the start-finish line. And Van Vugt goes sub-51, 50.988 from the 217 from the Netherlands. The gap was just under 7.5 tenths of a second on the last lap, as they now make their way, the leaders make their way through the hairpin at turn number 6 into the triple right-hander now. So first through 7, into 8, Now into 9 and then into the square left at 10 before the short blast up to turn 11. The penultimate hairpin on the course here at the circuit here at Wackersdorf. And there's a great little dice between Vilgot Edqvist and also the 210 of Morris Schmeiss. That is for 6th position. So Edqvist wants to get up as far up the order as possible in order to maximise his opportunities in tomorrow's last finals day of the season. And times are tumbling. Van Vrucht no longer holds the fastest lap because that now goes to Germany's Gianni Andrisani, who's currently sitting in 5th position and is closing on both Charlie Wurz and also Danny Van Dijk, and the pair of them ran in the 51s, the very low 51s, a 51.023 for Charlie Wurz, and then Van Dijk was on a 51.031, and Andrisani, well, his lap time was very impressive, to say the very least. So Pilker, let's just have a look what the gap is between him and Van Vrucht as they come across to complete lap number 5. The gap is now just under 6/10 as Van Vrucht goes into the low 50.8s. It was the high 50.8s for Pilker that time around. So Van Dijk and Charlie Wurz set exactly the same lap time on a 50.921 as Andrisani was close to being a 10th quicker than the pair in front. So Wurz probably had a quick glance over the shoulder and saw that Andrisani is closing and is about a couple of kart lengths behind. And Edqvist has got past Morris Schmeiss for position as Andrisani a bit deeper on the brakes behind Charlie Wurz going into turn 12. So Van Vrucht looks to be closing again. The gap could be under half a second now. Leaders come across the start-finish line, and that is the case. He's actually dropped it to less than 0.4 and puts in the fastest lap. 50.619 from the Dutchman. As a little bit further down the order, Poschik, Ritter and Rudenberg at the back part of the field, having a great scrap over what is 14th place. As Andrisani now gets past Charlie Wurz on the exit of the turn 6 hairpin and makes the move complete by the apex of turn 7. Got 1 minute and 23 to go, plus an additional lap as Van Vrucht is now closing. He's within 3 to 4 kart lengths and is a bit more measured on the brakes. I mean, he's got Pilker to use as a yardstick to gauge where he needs to brake to maximise his opportunity, and now he's got that advantage. It's going to be less than 2/10, I feel. Well, not quite, 0.246, and he's got the run going through turn 3. Turn 4, he holds back. He doesn't hesitate as such. He just keeps it planted. But through turn 6, he's going to have a better turn through on the braking. Through into turn 7. Now, Pilker is the man that's really got to watch it now, because he's got Van Vrucht closing on him by a clear rate of knots as they go through turn 11. A little bit further down the order, Schmeiss is being closed on by Hillertz and also Ritter in the 244. That's Silas Ritter from Denmark. As a nice move up the inside of Valentin Klus by Marcel Sermach for 10th position. As Van Vrucht really in the tow right now. He's closing quickly. He's going to plant it on the inside of turn 3. Makes the move sick. Great job by Mike Van Vrucht. Just slingshotted past, had the momentum carry, but Pilker is not giving up without a fight. He's still on the back bumper of the Dutchman. It's about half a kart length between the pair of them as Andrisani is closing on Van Dijk. The timer is now expired. This is the penultimate lap of the race. So it could get very interesting over the next 1,600 or so meters here at the Pro Kart Raceland circuit in Wackersdorf. So it's about a car length and a half between Andrisani and Van Dijk. It's about the same distance as they go through turn 12 for the penultimate time. Now Pilker has the slipstream advantage coming out of turn 14, the final corner. They go across the start-finish line. The final lap it is of the day for qualifying heats for Junior Max. Pilker's right on the back bumper of Van Vrucht. Is he going to send it up the inside of turn 4? He does! Great job by Pilker. But now Van Vrucht really has a chance, and it's It's nearly side by side on the entrance into turn 6. Andrissani in the meantime has got up to 3rd, past Van Dijk, with Charlie Wirtz still there or thereabouts in 5th position as the young Austrian. Then it's still got Edquist, Maurice Schmeiss, Kai Hrelitz doing a great job in 8th position, just ahead of Silas Ritter, Marcel Sermach in 10th position. But look how close Van Voost is as Danny Van Dijk sends it up the inside of Andrissani on turn 12, and Charlie Wirtz tries to go through on the German 2, heading into turn 13. He makes it stick. This is going to be a run to the line for the top 5. What a close finish. Van Voost isn't going to get it. Pilker takes the win again. What a job by the Polish driver from Dan Holland Racing. And when I tell you that the top 5 separated by just under half a second at the flag, it was a run to the line. Line astern, Van Voost tried to make it a drag race, couldn't pull it off. So it's 2 wins to Pilker in qualifying heats, 1 to Van Voost. This is definitely game on for finals day for Junior Max tomorrow. Pilker takes the win by just 0.111 of a second ahead of Mike Van Voost. Danny Van Dijk makes it a JJ Racing 2-3. Charlie Wirtz puts himself into another great finish. This is 2nd top 4 of the day. Gianni Andrissani putting himself in the hunt in the top 5, takes the 5th position. Hildegard Edquist recovers up to 6th place at the end of it all, ahead of Maurice Schmeiss. Great job by Kai Hrelitz from Belgium, finishing in 8th ahead of Silas Ritter, Marcel Sermach, Valentin Klus, Alexander Epskarva finishing in 12th ahead of Jeffrey Fixer, Milan Ritter, Tobias Perschik, and also Sen Rudenberg rounding out the top 16. What a way to end the qualifying heat action in 2019 in Junior Max.